Derrick Henry breaks the run in overtime to basically seal the game. Here's Derrick Henry on Lamar postgame.
That was like third MVP level for him. That was like that one of a kind of game. Just especially the one where he was getting sacked, got out the pocket, kept running down, almost got out of bounds, threw that ball back to Zay. That was just, that's why Lamar is who Lamar is, and best player in the league. He's a GOAT for a reason.
Okay, Brew, how confident are you in the Ravens?
I mean, this is
Wilds, it was a tough weekend. My goodness. Whew. I thought we were going to go into Cincinnati,
and do what?
one of my hometowns, and just have at it with the Bengals. Remember, I predicted a 2-touchdown victory.
I remember.
Blowout.
And it was a fight. It was an all-around Donnybrook up in there. I barely got my robe. They almost ripped my robe off. You see the sunglasses are all askew.
Yeah, we do.
I only got one Jordan. I couldn't even get out with two, and it's barely on.
Even on your foot.
All right, and then I just grabbed whatever I could to eat this sandwich. I mean, I just
You made
grabbed
that in
it.
Cincinnati.
I tried to make it, and they wouldn't let me. I just grabbed what was left, and then I couldn't even get a full soda pop. Just this little bit, but you know what? Whew. I'll take it.
Yeah.
I'll take it.
Yeah.
I mean, W's are hard to come by in the NFL.
That's true.
And so they got it. Lamar was fantastic.
Out of breath.
I mean, it was rough up in there. My gosh. And Nick, again, I'll take the win. But I got some concerns.
Okay.
I've got some concerns. First of all, the defense. I mean,
If you'd be more comfortable taking your foot down, you'd feel fine.
I'm fine. Would you guys be more comfortable?
No, you're fine. Whatever you want.
You take my foot down.
You're fine.
I mean,
the defense.
every quarterback looks like an all-pro against the Ravens defense.
Yeah.
All 4 of the 5 they've faced have had their best or most passing yards of the season against the Ravens. That's Mahomes. Well, everybody except Josh Allen.
Yes, exactly.
Everybody except Josh Allen. So the defense is a problem. I know Marlon Humphrey came up with a big play, which was good, but they can't be given field day, having every quarterback have a field day against the defense. And then offensively, now obviously they put up a ton of points, which was great. Derrick Henry, there's the problem, and we saw it when they faced the Chiefs. When they get behind, they get away from giving the ball to Derrick Henry.
Exactly what
the
Coach
Chiefs,
said might happen.
Yeah, and that's what they did. So against the Chiefs, he only ran for 13 times, which was a season low.
Yeah.
Okay? Yesterday, they're up most of the first half. He's got 10 carries for 27 yards. I know he wasn't getting a lot of yards, but still, he wears down the defense. Cincinnati takes the lead right before halftime. The second half, not overtime, the second half, Derrick Henry has 1 carry for 3 yards. And then overtime, of course, he has 4 carries, pops the big one, 62 yards for total in the overtime. So I don't know that you fully need to get away from Henry. They were down 10, I get it, but they got to figure out how to be better with that, because that's their identity, and you can't just – and Lamar's throwing it great. I think the numbers don't bear it out, but I think he's probably throwing it the best he ever has. Accuracy and all that, poise in the pocket. But their identity still is running the ball. So they got away from that.
So you hit on – and this is why you're the, conscience of the show, because instead of just preening about the Ravens winning, there were some legitimate concern points, and I think you touched on them. I have a different theory about them getting away from running the ball. I think there's something about Todd Monken and that team when another one of the superhero quarterbacks is on the other side of the field that they want to let Lamar go blow for blow with them. Especially, like now, the Bills game, I'm not throwing it out, but that was a weird game because it was so out of hand so quickly. But it was, and by the way, it's not like the Ravens offense struggled. They scored 41 points. There was no problem with it, and Lamar played great. That's the other thing I wanted to say.
But will that work against better defense?
Well, that would be the concern. Now, Lamar gets an A+. I will talk about Burrow in a bit, but I thought both quarterbacks had similar games in that they were almost flawless except they both had one huge mistake that could have cost their team the game. Burrow was the pick, Lamar the fumble, but they were brilliant from start to finish through the air, very similar stat lines. But the defense is so bad, I don't think you can feel more confident in them as a team and Super Bowl chances than you did before the game. Like Lamar gets an A+. Derrick Henry, even though he didn't have an opportunity to wear down the defense, still popped that big run. Isaiah Likely for the first game really since week 1, showed up big time again. The offense was great. But this is the worst Ravens defense that I can remember. And as far as every team going to work on them, they've played 5 games. Given up 25 or more points in 4 of their 5 games this year. It's those 2 teams. So that's a jarring stat. By the way, only the Bengals have done it more than twice other than these teams. The Bengals have done it 3 times. These teams have done it 4. No one else has done it more than twice. So that part is really concerning. But going into the game, on this show at least, a lot of it was Lamar versus Burrow. Who do you trust more? And, who's going to have a better game? And me as the biggest, I guess, Lamar skeptic is, I think a fair way to call it. I thought he played brilliantly. I thought he was excellent throughout and had a couple special Lamar moments that really only he can have. But the defense is potentially, I know this is a big thing with you, Wilds, an Achilles heel. It's been a problem,
It could be.
It's got to improve.
Yes.
Here's the rankings. I'll show you the rankings.
Way
Go ahead, Brew. Here's the rankings between 2023, last year's defense, which we thought was going to be excellent and carry over. Brew, you and I were saying, good defense is almost in Baltimore's DNA.
Right.
They've been good for the entire century, so we just assume even with turnovers of players and coordinators, they would still be good. That doesn't seem to be the case.
No.
Now, the positive part of this is I just believe in Lamar heating up. Lamar has had a few slow starts to September's. In October, he's now 17-4, so it's an 81% win percentage. I still just believe in Lamar. I believe in the style of play. I really believe in time of possession. So even when he does go up against a great quarterback, that we still have the ball longer.
But if they get behind,
wow, you're really a Ravens guy these days.
I'll throw around we pretty easily, to be honest.
Yeah, but Brew,
if they look, they're S-Bob. They're S-Bob. It's not about winning 13 games or whatever. It's S-Bob, and they got to get ready.
And next week they play Jaden Daniels and a team that offense through the air crushes everyone. And the week after that they play Baker Mayfield and those receivers. And so I just don't think Baltimore's back end can hold up against teams with real weapons. The Chiefs in week 1, Rashee Rice had a field day. In week 2, Devontae Adams spurred a comeback. The Cowboys in the fourth quarter, they were dead, and then all of a sudden they spur a comeback through CeeDee Lamb mostly. And then yesterday, Jamar Chase and T. Higgins. Jamar Chase is, a vintage Jamar Chase game. T. Higgins
and T. Higgins was great.
So that's just what are the
Bills don't
have the guys on the outside to take advantage. They have a great quarterback, but not that. Right. That's the worry factor for Baltimore. But offensively, Lamar was spectacular. Spectacular.
Meanwhile, the Bengals scored 38 points behind 5 Joe Burrow touchdowns, 2 to Jamar Chase. Burrow did have 1 costly interception. After the game, a reporter asked Joe about the narrow margin in these games. Take a listen.
How sustainable is that for a championship level team to play with that little margin, to be able to play basically better than what y'all currently play like?
We're not a championship level team right now. We're not. I like to think that we'll come back and improve throughout the season to get to that point. But right now we are not, and we have to get better.
Okay. Any reason to believe in Cincinnati?
So it will be basically impossible for me to give up on a team that I think has the second best quarterback in the league, that I think has, without a doubt right now, one of the 3 best offenses in the league now that they have all their weapons back. And Joe Burrow, despite the record, is playing some of the best football of his career, and we don't even have to throw out week 1 anymore. We can just show you his numbers for the year. He leads the league in passer touchdowns. He leads the league in passer rating. You know, he's top 8 in every other major category, with a horrific week 1 performance being 20% of it. But everything that I said previously about the Ravens defense, take that and add 20% negative for the Bengals defense. And Zach Taylor to me has always been one of the shakier in-game coaches. Taking the ball out of Burrow's hands after the Lamar fumble and just going run, 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 don't worry, it's a 52-yard field goal outdoors, when the context of every single slant to Jamar Chase worked the entire game.
So he claimed that he had a throw and Burrow audibled out of it.
Okay, all right, well that's
For the first
one. Okay, that's still.
But still, they got 2 yards.
Right, and so so that part concerns me.
And do you really because generally we all thought Evan was going to hit the field goal.
I did not.
You didn't think he was going to?
Well, I didn't think it was a lock. If I had to pick no, I would have said yes, because he's a great kicker.
53 yards, for great kickers.
But I would have wanted to see Baltimore.